4 yards separated Deion Sanders from possibly getting fired last night after a Hail Mary fell just short for the North Dakota State Bison in a great college football game on the first Thursday night we've had in college football. We saw Colorado come in as a double-digit favorite in this game, playing at home against an FCS team with a Heisman candidate in Deion Sanders, and all the hype Deion Sanders brings in. And we on this show told you last week that we thought this was going to be a very, very tight game. You know, my buddy picked North Dakota State to win the game outright. I picked Colorado, but I thought it was going to be tight. They win by 5, and they needed every bit of those 31 points to hang on to the victory. So the thing I want to talk about is the end of the game, because I knew Colorado wasn't going to be good this year. Their win total's 4.5. We talk way too much about Colorado, and this is probably going to be the last time I do a specific video on them, but I've got to talk about what happened at the end of the game. Before I do, make sure if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe. It takes 2 seconds to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button if you're new. Helps us massively and grow the channel. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about Deion Sanders and what you think about his decision last night late in the game, which I'm going to get into right now. So I'm going to bypass a lot of what happened. Colorado trailed at halftime by 3, 20-17, after a lot of back and forth scoring early. The North Dakota State Bison led into the third quarter, and then Colorado finally took a little bit of control of the game late in the third, early in the fourth. They drove down, took an 11-point lead with about 8 minutes to go on a ridiculous catch from Travis Hunter, who was phenomenal last night, albeit against, again, FCS corners. But they take the lead by two scores, right? Up 11. North Dakota State comes down and proceeds to go 11 plays, 78 yards, drives right down the throat of Colorado's defense, and scores on a 20-yard touchdown run from TK Marshall with 2:19 to go. So then Colorado gets the ball back. They get it with 2:19 to go, and they throw the ball all 3 plays. The first 2 were screen passes, and they picked up a total of 2 yards on first and second down. That bring up a 3rd down and 8. And boy, did they get bailed out. Deion Sanders scrambled back about 20 yards and threw a ball up in the air, complete jump ball. If the North Dakota State corner turns around and knocks that ball down, I'm almost certain North Dakota State is going to go down and score a touchdown and win that game. It would have been incomplete. The clock would have stopped, and North Dakota State would have had a chance to go win the game with plenty of time left. Penalty was called, pass interference. It was PI. Colorado gets the first down. This is where the decision happened. So again, Colorado gets a first down. There is a 1:41 on the clock when that first down occurred. North Dakota State had 1 timeout remaining at this point. Doesn't take a fucking math major to figure this shit out. 1:41 to go. 1 timeout for the opponent. If you run the ball 3 times, they're going to take 1 timeout. The other 2 times they cannot, so the clock runs. That is a total of 1:20 on the clock running. That leaves a total of 21 seconds to go. Not including you already running 3 plays. The 3 plays in college football, especially when the clock isn't going to stop on the timeout immediately, you get tackled after the play, usually a second or 2 runs off the clock. You're talking, minimum at the very least of 3 seconds. It's more like 5 per play. We're talking 9 to 15 seconds off the clock, maybe even a few seconds more. And so what happens? They would run the clock down to at most 11, 12 seconds and then punt 6 seconds at least, and maybe the clock runs out on the punt. They punt it out of bounds. The game's over. Essentially, what you could have done is taken a knee. You could have probably backed Shedeur up, been in protect, and had him waste time and take a knee every time. The game was over. All they had to do was make a very easy decision. This was a Mario Cristobal-esque decision here, and it almost cost them the game. Instead, on first down, they decide to throw a bomb deep to LeJontay Wester. Deion Sanders throws a 50-yard bomb down the left sideline. It is incomplete, which then saves 40 seconds. How much time was left when they got the ball back? 31 seconds. So ideally, if you had punted the ball there, the game was over, right? The game was over by 9 seconds, right? All they had to do was run the ball. Instead, they threw it there. They ran it the next 2 times. And what happened? Colorado State got the ball back with 31 seconds to go. And they got the ball back on their own 8-yard line. But again, college football, get out of bounds, clock stops on a first down. That is plenty of time to get into Hail Mary range, right? And what did they do? They got into Hail Mary. They got into more than Hail Mary range. It was only going to be 55 yards to the end zone, and they were bailed out by the fact that Cam Miller could not get the ball to the end zone. He had plenty of time and plenty of space to step in, and the ball came up about 5 yards short, maybe a little bit less, and it bounced out, and it was actually caught by Tyler Terhark on the 4-yard line, and he was tackled 4 yards short of the completion. The Colorado kids were trying to intercept the ball on that Hail Mary instead of just knocking the ball down. If the kid who went up for Colorado just knocked the ball down, they don't even catch that. But of course, they're trying to intercept it, and multiple guys tip the ball up, allows it to be caught. And if it weren't for that pass being 4 yards short, they try to intercept that in the end zone. Who knows what happens? But the fact that Deion Sanders allowed that to happen is the problem here. It's problem number one, right? And he comes out in the press conference after the game, and he throws his own son under the bus. Now, he wasn't talking shit about him, but he does it in his own way to make it sound like, of course, I didn't call that throw. No. Shedeur wanted to help his teammate out because he wanted him to get a big play. That is the stupidest thing I ever heard. Could you imagine Nick Saban saying some shit like that? No, he would say, I can't, we should not have done it. It was a bad decision. It was a horrific decision. How are you a head coach and allowing your kids to call their own plays inside of 2 minutes to go in a 5-point game? And a game that, if you lose, it's going to cause the shitstorm of all shitstorms. I mean, this could have been catastrophic. You're talking about a team that is projected to win 4 or 5 games this season. If they lose week 1 at home to North Dakota State, an FCS team who didn't even win the championship last year in the FCS, you're talking like a 3rd or 4th or 5th ranked team at that level, and they lose to them week 1 at home? Are you kidding? Can you imagine after all the week of him shutting out this reporter and all this shit that he talks? Come on, man. This is ridiculous. And for him to, the problem number 2 is for him to go out in the press conference and say that it was a good thing that Shedeur did that because he's unselfish. He wants the wide receiver to get the yards. Bullshit. He did it because he wanted the yards for himself and he wanted another touchdown. He wanted to throw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns instead of 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. That is unbelievable. And any other coach in America, even in this day and age with NIL and all that shit, if a quarterback did that and called his own play, he would be getting absolutely grilled by his coach, by his OC, because that's what a good coach would do. At least he would say something to him, not say, that was, it's a good thing because we threw the ball so well. I mean, this guy, it's just become a clown show over there. It really has. And I wanted Deion to do well at first. And honestly, if he just kept his mouth shut and was like a normal person and didn't say all this bullshit and try to, make an excuse for every little thing that goes wrong, if he just did that, I'd be like, look, they won 1 game before he got here. They won 4 games last year. Let's see what he does this year. But he can't keep his mouth shut. He talks to the media constantly. He's now shutting these reporters out. Grow up, dude. You asked for all the smoke. You got the job because of your name. You didn't grind to get there. You got the job because of who you are. And then you want to come out, you say you want all the smoke, you talk shit about people, oh yeah, we beat TCU 1 game, who's talking shit now? Yeah, then you win 4 games the whole season, and you keep talking smack the whole offseason, you do your own little docuseries on yourself, you have shirts with your own name on it. It's the most egotistical person I've ever seen in my entire life. Name another coach who puts their own name on shit. It's absurd. And now we're supposed to sit here and be like, oh yeah, Deion, he deserves to win, I really want to root for this guy. I can't do it. I rooted for him. I wanted him to win last year. I'm tired of this. Come out in the press conference and say what actually happened. Speak some truth. That's all I got on this topic. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree with me about the decision late with Colorado and what you think about Deion Sanders. How many wins is Colorado going to have this year? Are they going to get over that 4.5 total? And will Deion Sanders survive the end of this season if Colorado does not make a bowl game? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll catch you guys next time.